What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fantasy Turf War. Happy Friday to you. I know we're a little bit late. We've had a lot going on, both personally and professionally, so I appreciate you guys sticking with us. And welcome back to Fantasy Turf War, the show where 64 teams go head-to-head to see who's the ultimate champion. I am, of course, your commissioner, Corey, and let's go back to a single camera here. We have a lot of updates to get through this week. Some new statistics, some new records, some new faces at the top and bottom of the league. And, we're hitting the halfway point, so there's a lot to go over. But before we get started, if you like what we're doing here, if you like this idea of a 64-team fantasy football league on YouTube, we need your help. So do us a favor, subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. It really helps us out. Trying to get the word out there. We are trying to make ourselves as accessible as possible for everybody. We think we have a lot to offer for everybody interested in not only football, fantasy football, but also we are a league of small businesses and entrepreneurs. And so if you'd like to learn more about us, we'd love to learn more about you as well. And so the only way to do that is to follow us, and we will have tons of content to go with that. We also have a contest. Contest is about almost over, but there is still plenty of time to enter. So if you go to the link in the description below, you will have a link to the viral sweep contest. It runs through Halloween night, 11:59 p.m. The grand prize is a full-sized Christian McCaffrey autographed Beckett certified helmet. Again, big mouthful. And we also have several other smaller prize packs, including T-shirts, cups, tumblers, I think they're called, stickers, football cards, you name it. We've got some goodies in there, some stuff that we didn't post in the official stuff. But make sure you're entered to win. You can enter once daily, and then there's also additional entries you can earn by doing various tasks. I think you can get about 630 entries if you do all the tasks, I think, at last check. There's also bonus codes. And so if you check our social medias, watch some of our videos, most of the Tuesday night ones, there's some sort of bonus code in there. Sometimes we put it on the screen. Sometimes someone just says it. So you really have to pay attention. But if you enter those codes into the contest, you'll get 100 extra entries into the contest. And then that's it. You just put the word in there and you're good. That'll run through again Halloween night, 11:59 p.m. Basically, once you're done scarfing down some candy, we'll do a little video and we'll announce the winners, and then we'll reach out to you. Let's see, what else do we have? We have launched our website merch shop. Look, words are hard on Fridays. We have a new shop. It is also in the description below, and then we're also building it into our formal website. We use Fourth Wall to host it. You can find different T-shirts, stickers. One of my favorites is the Monday Morning Miracle T-shirt. So a lot of times in fantasy football, you are counting on a miraculous event to occur on Monday nights in order to be able to win your game. And this is sort of your lucky T-shirt to wear when that's happening. So one of my favorites, shout out to Gary to putting that T-shirt together for us. We have a lot more coming, especially with the holidays coming up. So keep your eyes posted. We're going to have some sales going on as well. Let's see. We are also now restreaming onto multiple platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. You name it, it's probably there. But we're trying to branch out. And so we encourage you to follow us along there. Right now, we have about the same video count or live view count, watch count, whatever you may have it, on Twitter as we do on YouTube. So we have about the same size audience on each platform. We do primarily focus on YouTube, but we do also make sure that everybody else is out there, and we can pull in comments from all the platforms. So that's great to see. Love to have people in the conversation. Speaking of which, we are working on bringing you into the conversation as well on our Tuesday night shows, where we can talk about your lineups or whatever you want to talk about, really. So keep your eyes posted on that. If you want to stay informed, if you want to be included in that conversation, you have to go to fantasyturfwar.com, enter your email on the homepage, or if you go to the top right corner, it says join. Make sure you type your email in there. That's where you'll get the information on about how you can join our shows on Tuesday nights. We go live 9 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday night, unless something's happening, but we'll put that in the chat, or we'll put that out on social media. But yeah, we want to hear from you. This whole thing is about fantasy football, and our league is community-based, right? There's 64 businesses, 64 teams. Naturally, we have to open the conversation up, and so we want to bring you in. Either have you explain yourself, try and justify a trade, maybe call out your rivals, whatever it may be. We want to hear from you. So we're excited about this feature coming in. And again, the only way to find out more or to be involved in that conversation is to sign up for the email list. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. We've got a lot to cover. We have our Week 8 preview, and then we also have a smaller halfway point show. So we've gone through and we've done some analysis on who we think is going to make the playoffs. We do have a pick for who we think is the most likely to win the championship at this point. And then we also have a ton of records. I think we have 256 records that we're currently processing, so a lot. So look for that episode to come in the next couple of days. All right, let's talk about Week 7 and the results that happened there. If I can get the slides working, there we go. All right, Week 7. Quite a bit of progress. This was actually our worst week ever in terms of fantasy football. Our points across all 4 divisions were really, really low. It does happen once the bye weeks kick in. But right now we're looking at Bam Bam beating the Stat Daddies. Stat Daddies beating Bam Bam 119.30 to 77.6. Carswell Golf 95.14 to 78.86. We have Tear Down 107.04 to Coach's Desk's 95.66. Lamb Chops keeping his streak alive at 112.46 against Avery and Jeff C at 76.64. Jive Turkey's pulling out a win, 71.34 against last place winner Richard Falls at 64.8. Jive Turkey, you needed that win to keep the fight alive, so I'm glad you got that win. General OGFL 119.16 to Floyd Beard 90.2. Screaming Pomeranians pulling out the win, 111.18 to Lambeau Calrissian 67.12. And we had one of these century loss games here at the end of the Division 1, and the lefties taking a loss 109.04 to 111.86. Close match. And so if you follow along, we usually tell people if you score 100 points, you should be expecting to win. As you can see, lefties pulled off that benchmark, but still lost the game. So it does happen every week. We are compiling a statistic on that as well. But tough loss for lefties, but hopefully you can pull it out next week. Let's take a look at Division 1 standings after this week. Lamb Chops keeping it at number 1. Carswell Golf at number 2. Stat Daddies followed by the Lefties, The Vibe, Tear Down, General OGFL, Screaming Pomeranians, Avery and Jeff C, Magic Makers, Floyd Beard, The Coach's Desk, Jive Turkeys moving all the way up to 13. Last place winner, Lambeau Calrissian, and Bam Bam still sitting there in the bottom. So lots of shaking up to do. There's still plenty of time left, but we're starting to see some clear front runners for the division. Let's move on to Division 2. You have Who Let the Service Dogs Out, followed by, Who Let the Service Dogs Out with a 136.7, beating Game Time Sports Network 81.84. The Mystics 93.6, beating Team Smooth, Timothy Trilk 61.3. Strange Brew with the win against Team Coco 97.84 to 87.26. The Ren Zone with a big upset here, 88.84 to 85.28. That was a massive upset for the week. Mark Manzella with a 98, beating out our host, Lauren Hill, Just Josh, and 94.42. Lauren, you got to start pulling some wins together. What's going on here? Sports Idiot Nation, TI, 119.56, beating out Matthew Brandon at Full-Time Fantasy, 86.26. Shady Brady with a big win, 109.28 against Influencing a win at 80. Shady, you had a lose streak there for a little while, but it seems like you've made a good rebound and you're on the up and up. And then Welker Home Peyton, that's Katie and Jutt, with a 74.56 against Legit Sports Media, 71.04. Let's take a look at your standings after this week. Who Let the Service Dogs Out, keeping the number 1 spot, followed by Shady Brady back in the number 2 spot, followed by Stampede, Strange Brew, The Mystics, Mark Manzella, Team Smooth, Welker Home Peyton, Sports Idiot Nation, Legit Sports Media, Full-Time Fantasy, Game Time Sports Network, Just Joshin, The Ren Zone, Team Coco, and sitting in the bottom there is Influencing a Win. Division 3, Gridiron Goddess with a tough loss against Swamp King, 91.94 to 57.02. Tank Talk keeping his number 2 spot at 126.82 against Dino Sports, 70.94. Yippee-ki-yay, Justin Tucker, one of my favorite teams to announce every week. 114.06 against Jordan Short, 73.34. She really needed that win there. Gorilla Camp, 98.96 against Cup of Almond Ramen Noodles, 91.08. Bevskins beating out Big Nick's Energy, so 104.4 to 73.44. Zach Brunner over at Flurry Sports, 140.04 against the Masterpieces, 69.70. So a pretty solid win there. Near the record, not beating the record. I think it's probably like 20 points short. Rad Dad also keeping his number one spot with a win, a century win, 129.16 to the replacement of 101.40. That's Brian. More info to come on him. He is one of the three teams that were new this week, replacing some of the teams that were just not participating in the league. Michelle Halleck beating out Marketing Happy Hour Madness, Cassie Tucker, Boba Sensei 85.54 to Cassie's 81.46. So that was a good match there. Let's take a look at your rankings after week 7. Rad Dad and Tank still undefeated, sitting at the top at 1 and 2. Rad Dad has Tank in points by quite a bit, but that is going to be covered in a later slide. Bevskins at number 3, Zach Brunner at number 4, Gorilla Camp 5, followed by Yippee-ki-yay, Justin Tucker, Boba Sensei, Swamp King, Gridiron Goddess, The Masterpieces, Big Nick's Energy, Cup of Almond Ramen Noodle, Dino Sports, Marketing Happy Hour Madness, The Replacement, and Jordan Short. And finally, we have our Division 4 results. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Taking a loss against Cardiac Sports and Memorabilia, 74.26 to 63.26. This is one of the other new teams, so I'm going to butcher this name until I get it clarified. But Topeka City Troopers, 111.28 to 83.26. Welcome to the league, Topeka. His name's Mike. Mike, welcome to the league. Yeah, nothing like entering the league with a solid win this week. Downfield Reapers 103.74 to Figment Cruise 96.76. Team Ohana Rizzlers beating out Cupertino Deadites 136.82 to 108. Team Ohana Rizzlers, good luck at Seattle this weekend. I know you guys have a competition out there. They play competitive card games. Ironically, beating out one of the stores that is hosting a card game competition this weekend that they're going to have to miss. Lockdown Fantasy Baseball 89.34 to Shiar Shugoth's 81.22. He got away with one there. He is, I believe he's third, maybe fourth now, and played most of the other teams this week. He would have lost, so got lucky there, and he knows it. Fantasy Couriers 109.4 to the Cleveland Thunderbolts, the other new team this week, which is why his picture's missing. 109.40 to 99.8. So hard fought game. Welcome to the league as well, sir. I love your story and can't wait to get to your interview. And tough loss this week, but we'll expect better next week, sir. Team Excitement beating out the Crush Crew 68.68. So that's a rarity to see the duplicate numbers there. To 49.54, followed by Bees in the backfield, 128.44 to Diamond Dogs, 114.76. So a century loss there. You hate to see it, especially Jesse. You called your shot early, so gotta keep it up there. But Bees, congratulations with the solid win. Let's take a look at the rankings going into week 8 for you. Number 1 in the division, Matthew Ane, Locked On Fantasy Baseball, keeping that spot. Followed by the Fantasy Couriers, Bees in the backfield, Team Ohana Rizzlers, Diamond Dogs, Downfield Reapers, Cobra Kai, Cupertino Deadites, Shiar Shugoths, Topeka City Troopers, Cardiacs, the Crush Crew, Figment's Crew, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, Team Excitement, and the Cleveland Thunderbolts. Right now, I would not expect the Cleveland Thunderbolts to be in last place, and we should have covered it before, but the reason you see the green and the red, if you are new to the channel, the way this league works is we have 64 teams, 4 divisions of 16. The top 2 teams in each division get seeded into a playoff after week 14, so they play 15, 16, 17, and those are the teams that are indicated in green. The team in red is the bottom of the division, of course. The bottom 4 teams of each division are subject to league punishment, if you will. It's really just a funny video. So the teams that are in red are the ones currently in the lead to lose, and the teams in green are currently winning the division and most likely to make the playoffs right now. All right. So one of my favorite parts about this is the statistics that come out of it. 64 teams, there's lots of data. And so as you can see this week, week 7, there was a significant drop off in the last 3 weeks in terms of points scored. Just kind of a bad week for everybody all the way around. The average points per division. So this is where that whole, if you score 100 points, you should be able to expect to win. This was true this week, except for those handful of century mark losses. Numbers are a little off there, but you can see that Division 2 has the average points for the week. I'll clean that slide up for next week. Average points per team per division. So this is cumulative over the first 7 weeks. So you can see that century mark holds true still on this slide. The other slide is a little incorrect, so I apologize on the lack of sleep. Then I missed something there, but it happens every week. We're all human. So Division 2 is the strongest with a 98.22 average score. So we'll get into why that team, or why that league, and why that division. Whew, it's Friday. Why that division is so difficult right now in terms of the competition, and why there is no clear front runner just yet. It's because it's such a hard fought win. You have to put up 98 points just to be able to get a win, likely a win. All right. Average points per team as a league. So this is across the whole league. So we had 101.39 as our week 5 high for the season. Week 7, the average score across the league was down to 93.95. So big drop off for everybody. Again, it's a really low week. Dare we say worst week ever? This is the same information represented a different way, so you can just see the trends are going down. The black line is the average, and the colored lines are the different divisions. You can the colors are correlated with the background splash of the image from our cover stuff. Highs and lows. So no changes here this week. Division 2 has the record for the highest score in the league, 169.86 as a season high. Division 3 has a season low, 21.4. Nothing changed here this week. Total league points. So this is representative of the entire league all the way across. So all 4 divisions put together every week. So again, you can see that massive drop off from week 5, where we had almost 6,500 points, dropping almost 500 points down to 6,013.04. So just a really tough week for everybody. We still have 2 undefeated teams, Rad Dad, Dennis Tresca over at Rad Dad Networks, and Tank Latier at Tank Talk Podcast. This will not continue through the rest of the season. There can only be 1 undefeated team at most going into the playoffs, and that is because these guys actually play each other in week 12. So one of you will have to lose eventually, and then it's just a question of if that winning team is still undefeated after that game or going through that game. So it has been said before, we'll say it again, no team has gone into the playoffs undefeated in the history of Fantasy Turf War. These 2 teams are still in contention for the first, and they are also tied for the record for most consecutive wins or win streaks. So they're both tied at 7 right now. We'll see if they can keep that alive going into this week. We had some new records. So previous record set for least points scored by a division in a single week was 1501.5 back in week 4 by the Goats. That is Division 3. And we have a new record because least points scored by division in a single week was broken this week by 1477.78 by Division 2. That was for this week, of course. They also hold the record for most points scored in division. So it's interesting that they hold both the high and the low record. We had another record set this week. We try and include new ones every week. So this one is least points scored by the league in a single week. So 6136.02. That was set in week 2. And we already covered this before, but this week was our worst week ever. We had 6,013.04 points scored this week as an entire league. So, a rough week overall. It usually gets better, but this is about the time when we see this record get beat up across the league just because of bye weeks and injuries. This is what happens. Hopefully, this is the worst it gets. All right, this is everyone's favorite part of the show. We've got our overall rankings, and if you like this, you're gonna love the next part after this. So we're gonna quickly go through our 64 teams in rank order. Dennis Tresca, Tank Latier sitting at 1 and 2. Both teams are undefeated at 7-0, followed by Desmond Ordonez, Matthew Ane at number 4, Charles Carswell, Justin Davies, Kevin Beverly, the Fantasy Couriers podcast, Cameron Bassett at number 9, Zach Brunner, Renee Neal, Eric Arena, Joe Knight, Matthew Metzbauer, Mike Lanza, and Dan Brown Jr. Those are our top 16. Taking a look at 17 to 32, we've got Pastor Jack, Alex Kaplan, Talon Van Horn, Jesse Grund, Jeffrey Demers, Mark Manzella, Matt Josephs, Timothy Trilk, Michael Crystal, Casey Garcia, Teamer Terry, Nichelle Halleck, Zachary Fisher, Katie and Jutt, Gilly Gilmartin, and T.I. are our top half of the league. Let's take a look at the second half. Vegas Maddie, Matthew Rummick, Ben Fisher, Jeff C., Casey Woolley, Michael Brick, Susan C., Matt Brandon, Cardiacs, Chet Atkins, Jay Harper, Scott Habib, Floyd Beard, Lauren Hill, Becky Mankin, and Sean Petnati are our top 48. And taking a look at the bottom 16, the teams in danger here: Kurt Swilly, Lauren Kaler, Nick Nichols, Evan, Team Coco, Eric Lund, Sebastian Bassett, Julius Adams, Cassie Tucker, DJ Hall, Richard Falls, Matt Brown, Brian Gobble. We don't have a picture for him. He is one of the new teams, so we're still getting him onboarded. Andy Schiffer, Adam Marino, Jordan Short, and sitting at 64 is Dan Boyle, also one of the new teams, but with his strong performance, if he can keep that up, he will no longer be 64th going into week 9. All right, so we've got some new statistics. We've had these before, but now we're able to share them in a more visually presenting, pleasing way. So we have much more statistics. You said you wanted more numbers. We've got more numbers. So here we go. We'll cover the differences, and then this will be the overall stats list going into next week and going forward. We'll just keep these updated since this is what you want. So point 4, highlighted in green there, 901.9. So Dennis Tresca is putting up a massive, massive point lead on everybody else. You can see everyone else in the top 8. The highest next to him is 826. So he's got a solid, let's say a good 80-point lead on everybody else. And he's getting points scored on him. He's got a 716.8. So you can see why he's number 1. And the gap between 1 and 2 is huge. So 749.46, over 150-point gap between 1 and 2. Again, they'll face each other in week 12. So we'll see who actually stays on top and whether these guys are undefeated going into that game. Let's take a look at some other notable highlights. You can see the changes. So the plus in green is the change in position that they've had from previous weeks. So Desmond Ordonez, you jumped 1 spot. Matthew Ane, you dropped 1 spot. You both won, but Desmond outscored you, so you dropped a spot, Matt. Sorry about that, but you got to do better. Sucks to suck. You can see they're pretty close there in terms of ranking, points scored, and points against. So that'll continue, I would expect. Nothing too significant there, but you can see the pluses and minuses. We're not going to go through each one. We'll just kind of hit the highlights. All right, Cameron Bassett at number 9, putting up a points 4 of 861. So that is competitive with the first page. He jumps 2 spots this week. Renee Neal jumped 5 spots this week with a 767.1 points 4. Let's see, dropping 5 spots was Eric Arena over at the lefties. Matt Bowser gained 5. Dan Brown Jr. took a loss and dropped 7 spots. But interesting note there is that you can see on the points allowed side, Dan Brown Jr. has the easiest schedule in terms of competition so far this season. He only had 558.9 points scored against him. That is the league lowest. So he has had the least amount of friction. So Dan, we would expect your ranking to be a little bit higher, but I know you've been competitive throughout the year so far. So hopefully that corrects itself statistically going forward. All right, 17 to 24. Some highlights here. Talon Van Horn, sir, you are one of the higher teams in terms of rankings. I think there may be 5 or 6 teams that have scored 800 points to today. But yet you are 19th ranked, which means you've just gotten massacred on your matchups. And that shows because your points allowed is 790.86. So it's really, really high. You just have had the unluckiest matchups possible so far, and that's why you're 4-3. But your points for indicates that your record should actually be higher. But it is correcting itself. You did jump four ranks this week. Jeffrey Demers, you're also correcting for the record. You jumped 6 spots this week. Matt Josephs, you also jumped 6 spots this week. Big highlight here, dropping 12 spots this week. Timothy Trilk with a loss. You dropped 12 spots. We're on a really good win streak. I think you had a 3 or 4 game win streak there, and finally took another loss. So it bumped you down quite a bit. All right. Michael Crystal, 700 points. Gilly Gilmartin, close to the 800 mark. So you're right on track there. You jumped 12 spots this week. So that is correcting itself, which you would expect to see. Hopefully that 3 and 4 continues to improve as it goes on. But you're right now in the top half. So that's a good place to be. Better at the top than the bottom half. And let's see. So a lot of jumps this week. So Katie and Jet, you jumped 9. Gilly, you jumped 12. T.I., you jumped 10. Gilly, you're highlighted as the larger font size there because you are the highest of the week. So that is significant. Vegas Maddie jumping 11. So that's a big plus for him. Matthew Rummick dropping 10. So you can see it's a little bit all over the place. Michael Brick taking over a team that was pretty much non-existent, as in they hadn't set a lineup for themselves since week 3. You jumped 12 spots with some effort there, up to 38. Putting up 634, that number I would expect to change drastically as the week goes on. Your points averaging per game is going to be significantly lower, but with you taking over the team now, that is going to be an outlier in terms of statistics. So good to see. Welcome to the league, and looks like you're already competing, so that's great. You do have an asterisk there, so we talked about it before. If you're following along on social media, we did lose 3 teams due to inactivity. They were quickly replaced. We did everything we thought was ethically possible, is probably the right word to say. Try to get in touch with them. And so we made a fun thing out of it and tried to call them out in social media. Quickly had 3 responses of teams wanting to replace them. And so we did. We swapped them out within a day. And Mike was one of those teams. We'll cover the other ones as well. But part of that deal was that we didn't feel it was fair to subject you to league punishment if you're coming in at week 7 and inheriting whatever someone else's record and lineups and all that stuff was. So they were given an exemption from league punishment. And so we'll sort that out as we get there. But right now he has an asterisk because if he is in the bottom 4 of the divisions, the worst in his division, bottom 4 of the league, then he is exempt from that punishment for this year. And he's also given an invite for next year so that he can redeem himself with a full season of work. Cardiacs, you jumped 8 spots this week. All these points you can see of the averages are significantly lower, dropping it down into the 6s. And the points allowed is starting to be higher than the points for. So this is about where you start to see the averages of the leagues take a real hit. But you are also seeing some inconsistencies in terms of jumping around still. So still a lot of time left. A lot of teams are kind of hit and miss on their scores. So if they can get a couple of good games together, they'll climb out of these ranks pretty fast. All right. Big jump here by Lauren Kaler with a win this week, her second of the season, 640.5. Nick Nichols, you are highlighted, sir, with a negative 14 on the change. You have dropped quite a bit this week with a loss, sitting at 2-5 with 612 points scored. You're highlighted because you have the biggest negative change this week. DJ Hall pulling out his second win. He jumps 5 spots and out of the bottom contention. I believe you were sitting there last week, if not the week before. You've been pretty close to the bottom there for a while. But good to see you have gotten out of there for the time being. Let's see if you can hold on through the rest of the season. Brian Gobble taking over the one of the teams that had also ghosted. You have 827 points against you, 619 points scored. So that is what you have relatively inherited, sir. So you did not get the best deal. Let's say that. So not only did you take a team that had been inactive, so you're not getting the points for that you probably should have, you also took the league highest beating. So, you got some work cut out for you, but again, you are exempt from punishment. So go big or go home, see what you can pull out of there. Andy Schiffer, Adam Marino. So you guys are all sitting there as well. Adam, you took an eight spot drop this week. Jordan Short with the lowest points scored in a week as a team in this year at 416.54. I know you had a rough draft, and trying to pull out the waiver wire stuff is not the easiest sometimes, and it's your first time. So all fun, and hopefully we see a better second half of the season. And then Dan Boyle, the third team to inherited the team 64 of 64. But he has the league exemption from punishment. So we'll sort him out if that still is the case. But you can see his points scored is 578. So still a lot of time to correct itself. And he had a solid showing. He almost won this week. So all good there. But you're the only team sitting at 0-7. Best week ever. You guys climbed 12 spots. And so it was actually a tie for Gilly Gilmartin, Swamp King, and Michael Brick. Welcome to the league, sir, again. You guys both jumped 12 spots, so you are having the best week ever. Congratulations. Which, of course, means we've had the worst week ever, and that's Nick Nichols dropping 14 spots this week. So, look, it happens. You never know, especially with these days with bye weeks and injuries, and everyone seems to be going down. So it happens, but you, sir, are not having the best week ever. You are having the worst week ever, and let's hope that you're not having another one next week. All right, let's see what Week 8 has in store. And I know we're doing this on Friday, so the games have technically already started for a lot of folks. That was actually a pretty good game last night, Vikings and Rams. He was definitely face masked at the end, and it's a little odd that they can't call that or do something about it when it's just so egregious. Anyways, Week 8 for Division 1, the Guinea Pigs. Let's take a look. Big Andy Media going against Lamb Chops, trying to hold on at 6-1. Magic Makers against the Lefties. Sean Pettinati at the coach's desk against Big Beard. Lambo Calrissian against Jive Turkeys. Jive, you should, I would hope you, both teams need a win here to keep themselves alive and flourishing with any chance of playoff hopes. If at the least, just out of the bottom, right? Carswell Golf against last place winner. Teamer Terry, General OGFL against Teardown 4-3. This is one of our games of the week. I think we have two this week. Teamer is ranked 27 at 4-3. Teardown is 25, also at 4-3. This should be a very close game, and I would expect it to come down to the Monday night game. So very close. Keep an eye on that one. Vegas Matty and the Screaming Pomeranians against Joe Knight and the Vibe. Stat Daddies against Avery and Jeff C. And moving on to Division 2, any given Sunday. Again, they hold the record for the highest points in a week as a division and the lowest points in a week. So never know what you're going to get out of Division 2. Who Let the Service Dogs Out against Team Smooth. Who Let the Service Dogs Out is going to try and keep their number 1 spot in their division. Still ranked number 9 in the league. Against Timothy Trilk, who put up a 3-game win streak and took another loss last week, which is disappointing, but let's see if they can right the ship. Alex Kaplan and the Mystics and Jay Harper at Game Time Sports Network. Team Coco against our host, Just Joshin, 2-5. Both teams need a win here to really stay alive in their league. Southside Stampede against Full-Time Fantasy. Mark Manzella and Shady Brady. Should be a good one here. The Ren Zone coming with a major upset last week against Stampede. I'm sorry, you beat out, I think it was Stampede. Beating Sports Idiot Nation 3-4. Strange Brew against Legit Sports Media. Adam Marino and Influencing a win. See if he can get out of the bottom spot there in the division against Welker Home Peyton. Looking at Division 3, we've got the Goats. Susan C. over at Gridiron Goddess against Marketing Happy Hour Madness. Dino Sports against the Replacement, who again is missing a picture just because we're still working on the processing. This one I expect to be kind of the wild card of the week, with Replacement having taken over the team, and they're actually making some significant moves. Hard to predict where they're going to end up. Matt Joseph's at Yippee-Ki-Yay, Justin Tucker, 23, trying to take down Rad Dad, 7-0, the number 1 team ranked overall. Matt, we believe in you. You can do it. Rad Dad, sorry, we're going to keep rooting against you as long as you're the number 1 rank. Just the way it goes. It's not out of hate, just jealousy from all the other teams, because I don't have a team in this league. So I guess it's all fun. Talon trying to take on Tank. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it right now. Talon, you should beat this. Win this game. You should beat Tank. Take him out of the undefeated spot. You have the points scored. Working with you, it is a gross miscarriage of justice that you are ranked 19th. So let's see if that improves this week. And Tank, you got away with some of those, but I think this week you've got to own up to the team you've got there, and let's see if Tank can take it to you. Bevskin's taking on the Masterpieces. Flurry Sports, Zach Brunner against Big Nick's Energy. Nick Nichols, who's having the worst week ever, against Jordan Short, 1-6. Nichelle Halleck at Boba Sensei against Swamp Kings, another closely ranked match. And looking at Division 4, the Monarchs. Sebastian Bassett against Downfield Reapers. Oh, I apologize. These the rankings are correct here. Let me double check. If not, I will just read through these here on the slide so that we get the right info out there. Look, it's a live production. It's been a long week for everybody, so bear with us as we correct the record here. Overall rankings. All right, Jeffrey Demers, you are ranked 21, sir. Sebastian Bassett, you are ranked 54, so pretty close on Sebastian's side. Casey Garcia, who is currently ranked 26 against Bees in the Backfield, coming off an impressive couple of weeks there. She is ranked. Where are you at? I know you're. You are ranked 11th, so that is way off. Dragon's Horde against Team Excitement. Dragon's Horde, you are currently ranked 29. Team Excitement, you are towards the bottom here. You are ranked 55. The Shiar Shugoths against Topeka City Troopers. Shiar Shugoths. Let's see. You are ranked 35, going against Mike, who is currently ranked. Where are you at, buddy? 38. Fantasy Couriers against Diamond Dogs should be a good one here. Fantasy Couriers, you are sitting at 8th. Jesse Grund, you are sitting at rank 20. Chet Atkins and Team Ohana Rizzlers, Matthew Metzbauer. Matt, you are at rank 14, and Chet, you have climbed up a little bit in the last few weeks to 42. Matthew Wane at Locked On Fantasy Baseball against the Cleveland Thunderbolts. Cleveland Thunderbolts, you are 64th. You are the lowest team overall. But again, you just inherited the team, and I expect great things going forward. Matt, you're ranked number 4. You dropped because of points last week. And Becky Mankin over at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. She is currently ranked 47 against Team Cardiacs, ranked 41. And that's going to do it for this week in terms of the overall rankings, predictions, and some more in-depth analytics that we've been able to report this week. Again, apologize for those last few mismatch games there in terms of rankings. Had a little bit of a misstep there in terms of preparation. Don't know where my camera went. All right, my camera went down. So that's awesome. So we're going to leave it on this screen here. But if you like what we do, if you'd like us to buy better equipment and maybe some better upload speeds, do us a favor, hit subscribe, like, comment below, and let us know what teams you think are going to make the playoffs. We do have our halfway show and prediction model coming later this week, hopefully tonight, if not tomorrow. So let us know in the comments who you think is going to win. If you like the way we're doing it now, we did make a pivot over to StreamYard due to some technical difficulties, kind of like my camera not working. We will get those sorted out over time, but I appreciate everyone's patience, grace, kindness, and feedback, of course. We will see you all next week. And until then, be kind, be safe, be excellent to each other, and know that you are appreciated. And yeah, that's it. Make sure you enter the contest. We have some cool prizes coming out. So I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.